Hey, what's up, everybody? It's just Charles Sabanson, and welcome you guys to another episode of the Dreamers Pro Show, where we cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment, and we'll give you guys a fresh perspective on things and how we see them. And today we got a great show for y'all, but before we get into it, please make sure you like the video and sub to the channel if you haven't already. So, as y'all know, I said about a week or so ago that I want to cover the Knicks a little bit more because we have 2/3 of our audience watching us out there in New York. We've been producing some shows and we've gotten some positive feedback on that. So I said, okay, let's just try to see how we can incorporate this into what we do in a natural way, right? So as you guys know, the Knicks are one of the best teams in the Eastern Conference. They're currently the number 3 seed in the Eastern Conference right now, behind the Boston Celtics and the Cleveland Cavaliers, who are the class of the Eastern Conference. But they just recently came off a very, very close game where they lost by 1 point to the Atlanta Hawks, right? So they lost to the Atlanta Hawks, and it was a heartbreaking loss for them. And I'm sure a lot of New York fans were unhappy with how the Knicks performed in that game. It looks like as if OG Anunoby was not available for that game. But you had other guys that had big games like Karl Anthony Towns, who had 44 points and 10 rebounds. And you had Jalen Brunson, who had 36, 8, and 3. But ultimately, it wasn't enough for them to win the game, right? So just yesterday, I came across a segment on ESPN First Take where Stephen A. Smith was reacting, or rather ranting, about the New York Knicks. And as I was watching him speak, a part of me just said to myself, bro, this just seems, number one, it doesn't seem real, and it was just cringe. I guess it was cringe because I didn't think a lot of people have kind of suggested that Stephen A. Smith isn't a real New York Knicks fan. And actually, I wanted to make my position a little bit scientific. So before producing this show, about 30 minutes before we started, obviously more votes are going to come in. We put up a poll on our channel where we asked the audience simply this: do you believe Stephen A. Smith is a real Knicks fan? And out of the 352 voters that have voted on the poll, I'm sure more people will vote a little bit later, 37% said yes, and 63% said no. And if I go through some of the comments, one person said, born and raised in the Bronx, hell no. And I make my point. Another person said, I doubt he watches more than 5 Knicks regular season games. Another person said he doesn't like basketball at all. I wish you would just stop talking about the NBA. So these are some New York Knicks fans weighing in, but the majority of the people that voted in that poll believe that Stephen A. Smith is not a real Knicks fan. So he then goes up there and starts to go into this kind of fake outrage rant that just seems so fake to me. And I feel like it just exposes the fakeness in what he was saying. So these are the comments that we want to get into. But before we even get into Stephen A. Smith's rant on the Knicks, today's video is brought to you by our sponsor, PrizePicks. PrizePicks is America's #1 daily fantasy sports with over 10 million members. PrizePicks makes it easy to get real money action on the sports and players you love. You pick more or less on at least 2 for a shot to win up to 100 times your cash. For example, this week on PrizePicks, I'm looking at the upcoming NBA schedule and selecting Stephen Curry for more than 29 points and Kevin Durant for more than 27 points and Anthony Davis for more than 12 rebounds and Luka Doncic for more than 8 assists. If you're like me and you like to play it safe, you'll love PrizePicks' new feature, Flex Plays. It's the safest way to play. You can still cash out even if your lineup isn't perfect. Plus, you can double your money even if one of your picks doesn't hit. On top of this, PrizePicks puts their members first, so all withdrawals are fast, safe, and secure. When my picks hit, I can get my money as quick as in 15 minutes. So download the PrizePicks app today and use code CLNS to get $50 instantly when you play $5. That's code CLNS on PrizePicks to get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. And remember, whenever you support this sponsor, you're supporting this channel. Thank you. So what we want to do is I want you guys to listen to Stephen A. Smith ranting about the Knicks. And then you guys tell me if you think this is real. Take a listen to him here.
Well, I would say they're close to the reaching the Eastern Conference Finals because I simply don't view anybody outside of Boston or Cleveland as a team that would beat them. But I have to confess to you, Elle, and it's good to see you in that chair hosting the show on this particular day. Molly somewhere in some undisclosed tropical
Fabulous,
location,
sure.
knowing her. All right, but I find myself today looking at my buddy Brian Windhorst, and I'm pretty pissed off. I'm not happy. I'm not happy with him. I'm not happy with NBA aficionados. I'm not happy with the pundits. I'm not happy with anybody. We are not going to sit up here, even with the Knicks clearly being the third best team in the Eastern Conference, and sit up there and spray flowers and all of this other stuff on the New York Knicks. If you're the New York Knicks, listen, you're pissing me off. I'm really getting disgusted with this organization right now, okay? I understand that you went out there and you got Karl Anthony Towns, who's been lights out. The brother's doing special things. Nothing but love for my man Cat right there. But I'm looking at the New York Knicks. Where's their identity? The story of the game is that they gave up 149 points. A Tom Thibodeau team has given up 149 points. Where's Tom Thibodeau at? Where is he? This imposter that's on the sidelines. You understand what I'm saying? Looking like Tom Thibodeau. Ain't the Tom Thibodeau I know and love. Where's the defense at? Do you realize that the New York Knicks, how horrible they are defensively? Offensively, they are off the charts. I think that Jalen Brunson, I heard you earlier, Wendy, top 5 candidate for league MVP honors. The brother is balling out. We know what Karl Anthony Towns is doing. But I'm looking at the New York Knicks right now. No surprise for a Tom Thibodeau team. Ranked dead last in the NBA in bench minutes and bench scoring. I'm so surprised. So now you're questioning their depth, okay? And then defensively, yes, OG Anunoby has been out the last 5 games. Yes, they've been 4-1 in his absence. But their defensive rating is one of the worst in the league. You've got Mikal Bridges, you've got Josh Hart, and still you're looking at a team right now that's giving up points in bunches. The New York Knicks, from a talent perspective, are the third best team in the Eastern Conference behind Boston and Cleveland. We know this, okay? But the point that I'm making is you look at them and their lack of a defensive prowess or identity. There's no way in hell they have a chance against Cleveland or Boston. It's just that they should be able to beat everybody else because they're either bereft of the talent that the New York Knicks have or they just don't have the know-how once the playoffs arrive to really, really pull something off. I know that doesn't seem to apply to Indiana because they beat the Knicks in 7 games last year. But we all know that's because the Knicks were in a walking infirmary. OG goes down. Josh Hart got hurt. Jalen Brunson goes down, etc. Everywhere you look, the Knicks had injuries. But this year right now, I don't like their bench. I don't like their depth. I don't like their absence of a defensive identity. And I'm looking at Tom Thibodeau, and I'm like, what the hell has happened? Where is Tom Thibodeau? We need the old Tom Thibodeau, the one that actually looked like he cared about defense, because we don't see it. This man is a Hall of Fame defensive mind. I don't know what the hell has happened to the New York Knicks defense this year. I still say they're closer, but only because there's only really 2 teams in the East to be worried about.
So you heard what Stephen A. Smith had to say. I got to be honest with y'all. A lot of that just seemed performative to me. Now, I get it. When you're in front of a camera, you have to be animated. You have to have some energy. I get all of that, right? That's standard. But it just didn't strike me as genuine. I just felt like that wasn't genuine. I feel like a lot of that analysis was superficial. I really do. Yes, he's unhappy that the Knicks lost that game. That's understandable. The Knicks... But the way he's painting the picture about the Knicks, you would think that they're doing a lot worse than they really are. Here's the fact of the matter. The New York Knicks are 8-2 over their last 10 games. 8-2. But if you listen to Stephen A. Smith, you would think that they would have lost 7 out of their last 10 games. They've won 80% of the last games that they played. 80%. Now, they've had some tough losses. No one is excusing that. That was a tough loss from a defensive standpoint. I totally get that. But I mean, look at some of the teams they lost to. Apart from that game last night, one dribble, one call, whatever, they win that game. They beat the Pacers. Karl Anthony Towns had a beast mode game. The game that they lost was to the Celtics, who was the reigning champs and the team above them. Are we going to beat them up for that? Then if you look at some of the other teams they beat the Raptors, they beat the Rockets, who are a very good team. They lost to the Lakers. But then they beat the Nuggets. They beat the Grizzlies by almost 30 points, over 30 points. They beat the Kings. They beat the Nets. Like, so the Hawks that they just lost, so they already beat them like 2 weeks ago. So this thing of, oh my God, it just seems so insincere to me. It didn't seem real. It just seemed like I'm a root for the Knicks because it's convenient. Because I'm the guy from New York on the set. New York is a big market, so let me just root for them. Right? It just seemed insincere. We're covering the Knicks, and I made it clear I'm up here lying or twerking it up for you guys. I told you. We discovered, I was going through some of the analytics about a week or so ago, and I realized, damn, 2/3 of our viewers are coming in from New York. I was like, really? I didn't know that. I thought it would have been California. California was not even a second market. I think it was a second or third market. I was like, really? New York? So I'm like, no, that means we have an entire audience to try to cater to. But I'm not in the Knicks video. Man, you know, the Knicks, no. People will see through that. They be like, yo, bro, son, you never talk about the Knicks. You never said you was a Knicks fan. So why you up here talking about, oh, the Knicks like thing? I'm like, yo, son, you fake. So to me, it just seems so insincere. And one guy said he feels like this guy rarely watches any Knicks games. And I would tend to believe that. Because the way he was describing them, you'd have thought they were the worst thing in the NBA. Bro, they're not that bad. Like, come on. Like, they're playing pretty well, and they're still the number 3 seed in the West. I mean, yes, they've lost some close games, but it happens to the best of them. Like, it happens to the best of them. So these are my thoughts. Y'all let me know what y'all think about it in the comment section. We catch you on the next show, and I'm out. Peace.